Good morning, good people. It is Clint Sharp, it's Sharp Solutions. Carpet and upholstery cleaning, supply, install and repair. Right then guys, follow me along today for this communal area clean. We've got LVT and we've got commercial contract carpet down that we put down a few years back now. This is a large property that we've been servicing now for around 5 years. So I'll just grab some bits, and as I do, we'll go through a few bits of what we're going to be doing. Okay. So yes, I think it must have been about 7 years ago. I originally was called out to clean all the communal area carpet. It'd been down a long time, and to be fair, it had seen better days. So there was a lot of wear on the carpet. So I talked to the maintenance person and director of these apartments when I first came, and I explained that the carpets really did need changing at some point in the near future. So that's exactly what we've done. Now, this is one block, and this is probably the smallest. And this is a single story, one floor, sorry. All the others have got anywhere between 3 and 4 floors. So originally, this carpet was like a green, similar carpet, contract worthy. So we replaced it with almost a like for like, maybe a little bit harder wearing. So that was after the first initial clean. So this carpet now was fitted by ourselves, this one about 3 years ago. Okay, so it needs a clean. Now, speaking with the director of the properties and what they want cleaned is just up to the top step. So because the guy here that runs the show I get on with so well, I think I will just do that top landing there as well, but I will leave the top landings, but I'll give that a going over. I can see it's had a little bit of a spill, sticky spill just there, so I will treat that. Apart from the carpet cleaning, there's 5 blocks altogether. So I've gave myself 2 days, because this LVT here, it's in all of the blocks on the ground floor, and we're going to give it a clean. So it's got deep embedded soiling in there, and I do think it's going to come up a treat. We're going to treat it with a non-slip scuff resistant polish after, just to put a nice finish on it, and it is a high gloss finish, so there will be a shine to it. It takes about 30 minutes to dry in between coats, and we'll be filming and catching all of that for your viewing pleasure today, so you can get a good insight to what's going on. But to start off with, I think we'll get some kit out, get the wand set up and things, and we'll get some pre-spray down after a quick vac. I won't film the vac in. We'll just get straight into the pre-spray stage, and then we'll get into the rotary stage, because that's what we'll be using to remove the soiling from here. Now, sometimes it can be done with a rotary brush, can even be done with a CRB. I prefer to use a rotary, and I actually prefer to use a polishing pad. Now, I have used different kinds of pads over the years. I don't do a lot of LVT, but when I do, I have experimented on certain pads. Now, I've got red agitation pads, I've got green, which are far too coarse, I find the white polishing pad absolutely perfect, because one thing we have to remember when cleaning LVT is it has got a seal on there, and if you use something too aggressive, you don't want to be wearing down that wear layer. Remember, we're only removing the soiling off the top of the gel coat that's on there, the wear layer, and then we're going to obviously put something down to prevent it rapidly resoiling and sticking. So that's why we're going to add a polish, and like I say, the polish is anti-slip as well, so it will look fantastic, but it'll also be safe for the tenants to obviously use. So let's go and get some more bits. And the weather here in Derby at the moment, it has been awful. I think it's rained constantly for about 2 weeks, and then we've just got a little bit of a dry spell, and that's because it's absolutely freezing. The heater will definitely be going in tonight to protect the TM, because I've not checked the weather, but it's cold enough to snow. So we'll be flushing with the TM today. Now, obviously, sometimes portables are better, and I was kind of thinking, you know, should I take the portable, flush with the portable, and I thought, you know what, for what it is, because we're doing the carpets as well, let's get it all set up now. A couple of things that you have to obviously realise about that, and that's for those that may be thinking about getting a truck mount in the near future or the distant future or whenever, is obviously you've got your running costs. Now obviously that's going to offset against your tax and things, so where you lose you win kind of thing, you know, but there is that initial outlay. You know, you got your fuel, and obviously you got your maintenance. Now I'm not going to go into that too much, but obviously running today, I think I'm going to do 2 blocks today to see how I get on with. Obviously having to wait about 30 minutes between drying times on the polish. So we're going to do block A and block B, and then we'll have another 3 blocks to do either tomorrow, or we'll just see how we go with it. I might even get another one done today. We'll see how we go with it. But I'm just going to show you the product that I'm going to be using that is versatile, very, very versatile, and it's going to be able to do both the carpets and the LVT. So it is a micro splitter, and those that are veterans of the channel will know that is mainly what I use. There's all sorts of lovely solutions out there on the market, and I've been through them all, whether it's from Canada, the States, you know, even Europe. I've had them all, I've used them all, and they're all fantastic in their own way. A couple of reasons over the last handful of years that I've decided to stick more to UK products is they've come a long way. They're absolutely fantastic. The product that I use all the time from Restore It, Restore Me, is Restore It. Get the words right there. Yeah, I've been using it for a long time. It is a micro splitting agent, so it works on contact. Although I do find if you leave it to dwell a little bit, it does help a little bit, but it's not necessary. It's a pH of about 10.5, I believe, between 10 and 11 it's got on the old tub now. Used to have 10.5 if I remember rightly. We will be rinsing it down as well. So the great thing about a micro splitter is they normally self-reduce because of what they're made out of, oxygenators and other bits and bobs that they put in there. So the pH, as it starts to dry, comes down. However, if you do like to, just for your own reasons, use an acid rinse for peace of mind, I'll be using an acid rinse today. It's already gone into the solution tank, and I'm using Alltex acidic rinse and fix. That has already been put into the fresh tank, because obviously the LVT will need to get that neutralized before we put down the polish, or the polish is not going to stick correctly. It's not going to dry correctly, and you're asking for trouble. Ask me why I know that. In the past, I've used other bits and bobs where we've rinsed it off, but not rinsed it off thoroughly enough, and yes, we've had exactly that. Like I say, I don't do an awful lot of hard floors, but I know what I'm doing when it comes to doing them, especially kind of LVTs and ceramic and porcelain tiles. That's about as far as I go, but I don't advertise for it. I love me soft fabrics and fibres. That's where my, let's say, skill set really belongs to years and years of knowledge, from installation, repair to cleaning them. So it's where I'm comfortable with it. It's what I know what I'm doing to 100%, and I can teach others as well. But the LVTs and what have you, over the years I've been doing more and more. So like I say, if you've not done it yourself and you want a bit of an insight, today is where you're going to get it. As far as the polish, when we come to the polish, again, I've used several. You know, I'm not going to name any names to say that they're not good or they are fantastic, you know, because like I say, they all work. It's just at what level you want from it, you know. And I believe 18 to 24 months with about 2 applications is about standard and right, you know, and you want it to literally do it justice. Now, this is proven. I've literally used this particular brand now for, I would say, coming up to about 4 years. And like I say, I don't do an awful lot, but when I do, it's what I use. I used to use another few branded marks, which were good. I just find this very, very good. So it's that, believe it or not, you know, it's durable, very, very durable. I mean, dries in 30 minutes, got an eyegloss finish. You can't get the matte finish in it. So when I go for a matte finish, I go for the Carefree range. But this is really resistant to scuffs, heel marks, you know, all them sort of bits and bobs. But goes down lovely. And like I say, I was very impressed with it when I first used it. So obviously that's a new one, but we will get through the old one. They've just changed the bottle, sorry. It's exactly the same stuff, so we'll use that just to start off with. So I've just mixed up 2 litres, which is plenty to do the carpet and the LVT. Right then, so when it comes to tooling, for the carpet, I'm going to be using a stair tool, or sometimes even use a hand tool or even a upholstery tool. So I've got them all out, and I'll quickly tell you the difference between them, and that's for those that need to know. You know, I know we've got a lot of veterans to the channel that know, but for those that are starting out, trying to get into the industry, trying to learn the right way, taking your courses and everything else that's necessary, let me help you out a little bit. So this one here, this is an upholstery internal jet. So the jet is inside the head. Now, sometimes I will use that for carpet, and the reason being, when this is in use, because the jet is internal, what's happening is it's not getting out of the end of the tool fast enough before the suction of the motor is pulling it back. So yes, you use less water on the actual fabric or fibre that you're cleaning. You get quicker dry times because of that. But the downside to that is you use more water, because remember, we've not got an external jet. So today, we won't be using that. Now, we could go with a wide head stair tool. So I use this a lot, which is a 2-jet. I'm not going to be going with that today. Reason being is I'm looking for detail. So something that between the 2 there does the job how I want it done. And that is, I want to get right into the corners of the stairs so I can cover as much as possible. Detail, I'll get down, I'll be on my knees. So I'm trying the new knee pads out today as well. For you guys that know me, you know that I swear by knee pads. Being a fitter by trade, I've always used knee pads, internal and external. Over the last, I'd say probably 10 years, I've probably gone external, purely for the comfort, because sometimes trousers, they can ride up, so the pad's not in the correct area, and they're just fine with external pads, like the answer pads and so forth, better. So I seen these the other day. Now, these are something that I wouldn't go out and buy, because they're not to a professional quality as such. Like, I think, well, I mean, that's what I think. Who knows? I mean, at the end of the day, that was quite quick to judge there. I'm going to try them out, and I'll tell you what I'll try them out. I brought these the other day from Lidl. Now, they cost me £5. The gel coated on the inside, so they're very comfortable. They've got this hard plastic shell on the outside to protect the kneecap as well. And then they've got the Velcro strap that you get on most external pads. So, for £5, I thought, do you know what? If they're not comfortable or they don't last, what have I got to lose? So, the brand's Parkside. I'm going to be deadly honest with you. We'll see how they work today. Right then, the tool of choice is going to be a single jet external guarded tool. Now, it's very rare I use this. It's got to be the right situations because we don't want overspray and stuff like that. Hence why I went for the guarded external jet. But this is the one I'm going to be using today, so we can cut back on the amount of water that we'll be using. So we're going to use that on all the carpeted areas, and then we'll use the Glidemaster wand from ProCam for the LVT. Now, people might think a squeegee wand would be better, like a gecko or something like that, and you're absolutely right. However, I don't do an awful lot, like I say, of LVT and hard floors, and I got a bespoke glide fitted to this. I must have had it on now for about 3 years, and because it was bespokely measured and fitted, it's glued to there like you wouldn't believe, and it's never ever going to come off while I'm touching wood, because it has literally been a godsend to me. This has. I spent the extra on getting a glide that was bespokely made for those reasons, that I wanted it to last longer, because I'd gone through a couple of glides that just by cleaning carpet hadn't. So you can see the openings here, nice light passes with this will do the job just as it needs doing. Right, on this part of the job, I'm running about 75 foot of recovery hose, vacuum hose, and I'm running 100 foot of solution line, purely because I run in 50s. So one's all ready to go. That's the rotary, the old Victor that I'll be using. And then obviously we've got our application mop for putting down the polish after. So we'll just pop this fan down here. That'll come into use to speed dry this LVT once it's clean. We're all rigged up, anchored in at the top here, so that we haven't got pullback drag on that vacuum hose. So yeah, let's get cleaning. So there, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. We will do the tread, the riser, sorry. Just lets us use a little bit more water, but at the same time, not. So this flooring has been fully stuck, commercially fitted. We don't have to worry about any glues or anything else pulling through. All the correct adhesive on the install was used. And that's fully dry, obviously. Just for newbies that might get scared when they come up against glue downs. There's all different glues that can be used. You know, you can use tackifiers that will always remain tacky. and then you use hard set adhesives that dry and glue down whatever it is that you're adhering to the floor. But this little upholstery tool, external tool, is very good. I've also got a Rotavac and a scientific, but I always go back to the alloy tools. I just think they last longer, but that's my personal preference on it. Obviously, before I go into polishing the LVT, I'll give a knock on these upstairs doors to make sure that the tenants are aware that for half an hour between drying times, it will be strictly out of use. And that sugary spill has come up lovely. There's no remnants of that anymore. So yes, this sort of carpet is designed for this sort of use, commercial use. It's no good putting a domestic carpet down in a commercial property. That's going to see a lot of footfall because it just won't last 5 minutes. Where this carpet was designed for the job, and it's cleaning up extremely well. Obviously it won't be till we get to the bottom till we start seeing the heavier soil patterns come out that you'll see. I can tell being on site, being on the job, that it's doing a cracking job. But it might be difficult to pick it up on the camera. Okay, so we've done down to the bottom step. I've left the riser because obviously we've got this mat here to do on this floor, so you can just see we've used about 1 litre on all those stairs and half landings. So this litre will be plenty to get this area here done. You can see we've got scuffs. Hopefully they come out with the clean, but bearing in mind we're not out to restore this floor. We're not going that deep. Sometimes it can be too deep where you would literally need to strip back the seal. So then you'd have to reapply a seal where we're using a polish. And these bits. That's the solution down. I'll use a little bit more just as an overspray. Like I say, this solution, it works straight away, doesn't need as well time. As you can see, minimal dwell time. It's working straight away. See how deep these scuffs are. Hopefully they'll come out. With a solution, and if not, I will try a healthy solvent that ain't going to hinder the wear layer. But I'm happy with the way it's cleaning up so far. Cheers, pal. Yeah, it's going all right. All right, yeah, just filming it now. Just yeah, solutions, Dan. So the sort. It's looking good. Yeah, after this rinse, I'll then go over it again, trying to take the scuffs out, bits and bobs, to get it as good as I can get it before. Obviously, when I'm happy with it, when I know I can't go any further with it. Yeah. Yeah. I've only done down to that step. I've got all this to do, so that bit there.
Yeah. Looking good.
Yeah.
You want a cup of tea, right?
No, I've got some, Freddie. But thanks for offering. Cheers, pal. Okay. No, I'm fine. Yeah. So at the moment, I'm using a blend of safe solvents to use on this LVT, and we just got a very light scour agitation pad, basically, just to very lightly take off little flecks of emulsion paint, as you can see, round the corners. Now these bits here, what you can actually see there is the LVT has come apart slightly. LVT expands and shrinks, and all different kinds of glues can be used. And if the wrong glue has been used, or it gets too much direct sunlight, it can hinder the install. And I think maybe a pressure sensitive adhesive is what should have been used here, but I don't think it was. So that's why we've got quite a few gaps. Now it does happen to most LVTs, even with the best glues, as fitters will know, and they'll probably be watching this, and if they are, they'll be saying it will happen no matter what you use. It shrinks over time. So what you can actually see down the side, it's actually the black gel that the LVT strips are made out of. It's not soiling. So you could be here all day trying to dig out there, but you're not going to dig out anything. You can see it here, look. You can literally see the black side of it. Now, for protection, the polish that I'm going to use will seep down in there, obviously making that a little bit more watertight, let's say. See all these bits of paint flakes here? Just a very light scour over will bring them off beautifully. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking to clean the product. We can't fully restore it, well, we could do, but as far as these gaps go, you're not ever going to get away from that. You'd have to literally put down new flooring. So that's for those that don't know when LVT shrinks, you know, what to look for and how to manage your customers' expectations, because a lot of the time you will have your customers thinking that that is soiling. So yeah, it's going really, really well, as you can see. I'm just going to scoot back so we can see where we've attacked. All them scuffs there, they've come out beautifully. We've just now got to move up to these scuffs here. And the product that I'm using, it really does bring them out quite well. Bit of elbow grease is inevitable. You could use a drill brush with the pad on if you wanted to. Prefer just go over it by hand, not in no deep rush. The time's been given for the job to complete it. So very happy with it so far. Well, that is the floor squeaky clean, dry, and ready for its polish. Right, well, that is the first coat down. Sure you'd agree it's looking a million times better. Right then, so just for some comparison, front mat, carpets look lovely. Stairs look amazing, like brand new. And this floor, wow. That's the first coat still drying. Let me show you in comparison to what it was, to re-jog that memory to what we're going into next. This is probably slightly more soiled, but it's not a million miles off. So again, there's the mat. We are talking heavier scuffs in here. Let's get some insight. You can really see that soiling now. The stairs as well. So that's what we're working with. And now let's go back. Just so we can see the soil that's been lifted out of the drain. Night and day. Right then guys, so here we are in block B. You've just seen me finish off the stairs. That looked fan-dabby-dozy. So I've just sprayed the solution down on this LVT and we're just deep scrubbing it now before we rinse off. So obviously there's turning areas on this LVT that are deeply ingrained with soiling, but the polishing pad is just cutting through it like mustard. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So they've definitely not been professionally cleaned and treated in the last 10 years. So it'll just be a case of routine cleaning, your pine disinfectant kind of thing that your average cleaner would put down on this floor. That's just built up and built up and built up. You know, if you was to run a mop over this now and expect to see any changes, you probably wouldn't. It's that ingrained. So this deep clean is absolutely necessary. It's coming up absolutely beautiful, which you will see more so when I rinse off. Right into them corners. Okay, so that's this floor all prepared for polish. Not a piece of paint or a piece of dirt inside. Just got a little bit more drying to do, and then we'll apply that polish. That's plenty for the first coat. And that's block B. Totally finished. Good morning, good people. Welcome back for day 2 of this video. Do you want to see the same thing again? Well, I'll show you before and after. So as you can see, plenty of soiling to be contending with on those stairs. And this LVT again, look at that. In fact, I'm going to take a picture from here, and then we're going to take a picture once it's clean and sealed. Here's your picture. Well, it's another cold one. Come on, baby. Yes! What we need to see. Okay, we'll warm that up so we can fill the pre-spray. Same again, guys, don't change what works. Let's go with a good old Restore It micro splitter. Okay, so because we talk about most products on the channel as well when it comes to cleaning, this is what we use. So the Sealy 2 litre chargeable bottle, you know. You've probably seen, if you've not seen, I've used a few different kinds over the years, Works, 1 litre sprayers and a couple of other bits and bobs, but this Sealy I've had now for about 6 months. It's got a nice little compartment at the top for the charging lead. Battery is incredible, lasts a very long time. You just need to be careful when it comes to the electric sprayers. I've said this to a few friends messaging me over time. If you're going to use any oxidizing solutions that obviously create pressure, once you've mixed, you need to take the top off when you're not using it, because what can happen, it can get into the head and then obviously cause destruction, total destruction, and you don't want that. So if you're using oxidizers, just remember to screw the lid off once you've pre-sprayed. So you can change the fan, obviously, like any other chargeable sprayer. Like I say, same as before, we'll be using this 1 2 litre bottle to do this whole block. It's not about what you put down, it's about how you put it down, how you mix it, how you agitate it. So I'm just going to let that set for 5 minutes. It doesn't need any dwell time, I know I state that, but it doesn't. But while I get the drill brush on there, I'm going to give it 5 minutes. Cannot wait to tackle this floor for the before and afters. Cannot wait. Also, the van today is at a nice close point to the door, not too close. Got to watch them fumes. So for those that are thinking about getting truck mounts and things, no matter if it's new or old, you have to watch the emissions. So obviously the machine's on that side blowing that way, because wind can blow it in, and we've all had it, some more than others. But if you're too close to the property, all them gases, CO2s, come into the home and then you set alarms off. So that's just for anyone that's thinking about getting a truck mount in the future. There is a few bits and bobs that you'll pick up on the way if you're not told. So once again, that's what this channel is about, helping you out where I can. 50 foot length today, I think, is going to get, you see, we're only doing the first set of stairs up to the top, because we fitted them all literally a few years ago, and because they're incorporating the LVT clean this time, the budget's the budget, so it made sense to do half of the stairs where it's soiled and not so soiled, obviously, up the top there, and then get the LVTs done. And then in 6 months' time, we'll be back and we'll do all of the carpets. Well, 6 months to a year, depending on obviously what it's like. Back end of winter kind of thing. Well, I say back end, probably not going to get out of it, are we, till April time, spring. But we'll see how it goes, and Freddie will give me a shout when it needs to be done. So like I say to all of our customers, when it comes to cleaning, try and get to it before you can visibly see the soiling, because then that's going to prevent damage on the fibres. But they always try and push it to a point where you can see it and it needs cleaning, and it's at that point that damage can be done to the fibres by obviously walking on it every single day, crushing in that soiling and grit and everything else, destroying the fibre, the content. So let's crack on. Get that lead around that shoulder. Oh, you little beauty, you. Oh. Right, let's get down the bottom here. We'll give the mat a going over. Bit of agitation with the polishing pad. Oh yeah, you heard that right. With the polishing pad. Obviously it's been sprayed. There we go. By the way, the knee pads, £5 from Lidl, Parkside. It's too early to give a full review on them, obviously, but we have to remember They're £5, and they were sold out. Literally, I seen them one day, brought them, then went back for another pair because I've got a friend who said he'd like to try some for a £5. You got nothing to lose. I went back and there were one pair left. They were gone. So, you know, hopefully they're not like going to last a week. They're not going to last a week, you know, because then that's just pointless. But hopefully, you know, I can get some decent time out of them. They're very comfortable. They don't move about too much. I'm not sure about the hard plastic and how that would do with carpet. You've got to be very careful sliding over synthetics and things in case you make score marks and stuff. Plastic against plastic, you see, with pressure and speed. So I'd have to be very careful there, tread lightly with it and see how we go. But apart from that, Parkside, thumbs up from me. All the edges will be done by hand, just so I can get it deep. Right then, time to wash the pad out. It's had a bit of use, but these go a long way. So I've done that side. Now let's do this side. Before we go into the next blocks. Red hot water. A full going over. That's it, then we'll just wring that out. Light scuffs. See you later. So obviously, like I said before, 2 years, about these gaps, as I'm going on the first coat of polish, I'm trying to just seep it into the gap. Can you see? So that'll dry solid, obviously. I've got a second coat to do, but if we can do that, it's going to give it some benefit, isn't it, rather than just leaving it as a gaping gap. So the polish has a few advantages. Right then, bit of split testing on this last block E. So, you know, we've been using a Restore It, which is the micro splitter, 10.511 pH, but then it buffers itself down to a neutral. On this last block, bit of split testing, instead of using the rotary, I'm going to use the CRB with the tile and hard floor brushes in. And I'm also going to use Restore It HD. Now, that is a solvent-based cleaning product at a pH 11. You know that we've also got acidic rinse in the tank, and then we're going to wipe it down after. So I enjoy doing a bit of split testing. You can clean up LVT literally just with a neutral LVT cleaner as well. They all do the job. You've obviously then not got to rinse it down and what have you with an acidic rinse. But I do like to do a bit of split testing, and you know that's what we do on the channel. So as long as it's left in a neutral state, we will be fine. Obviously got the rotary out ready to do it, and then it just come to me, why not? Let's try it, okay? So we've not done the doormats at the moment. They've just been pre-treated. So they have been pre-treated with HD. The stairs have been done. I clean those with micro splitter Restore It, okay? So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. The mats have seen some hammer, and we've got some dirt grounding around the edges again. On this one, we've got tiles that are separated. I'll try to see if it'd be handy if I've got a coin on me, just so I can show you this. For those that are like, no, you know, that's dirt. So, here we go. We've got one here. See that? 20 pence standing up in it. What you can see, the black, that is the black gel coating of the actual tile. Right, let's crack on with it. Okie dokie. So, this has had about a 10-minute dwell time. So obviously I spoke about the floor wash machine before on the channel, and what this does is it collects at the back the dirty water as it's counter-rotating. For those that wanted to know a little bit more about the machine, we'll go with the grain as well, just to make sure we're getting it all. We may as well go straight onto the carpet and give that a little bit of an agitation. I can see straight away that on the mats the CRB is obviously better for agitating. It's what it's designed for, than the rotary when we was using the polishing pad yesterday. An instant big difference. This carpet here, this mat, without even rinsing, looks like it's had a clean. You've all probably had that before, where you've agitated your solution and the customer said, wow, that looks amazing, and you're like, wow, it's not even been rinsed yet. So when we take the soiling out, then it's going to look a lot better. Saying that, you know, we do take soiling out in different methods, and I'm a keen believer that whether it's through extraction of a HWE machine or extraction through correct pads, I'm happy as long as the job's done to a satisfaction where I'm happy and the customer's happy. Customer's always got to be happy. So I'll work my way back here, but as you can see, we've got some paint marks. They'll come out when I do a hands and knees job afterwards, because all the exterior, all round the perimeter, I'll be going round with a agitation pad with a bit of the solution, just to be sure that I'm happy coming up well. It's coming up well. And obviously this solvent cleaner is nowhere near powerful enough to take the shine off the product, even if we wasn't polishing it. But yeah, I'm happy with it. I am happy with it. It's getting deep in that green. Obviously, it's a little bit slower, but I'm happy that they're both doing on the hard floor, I would say about the same sort of job. Right, cut to me flushing. Right, wow, that mat has come up beautiful. So I'm just going to pad off, and instead of using the Ironman pad, I'm going to use a synthetic zebra pad just to see if we can get any deeper agitation. Right, let's have a look at that. There's a couple of scuffs and a few paint marks just down there, and a few others, but lovely. I've just got to do the edges, as I said. One thing that's different with this one is it's actually a different colour. Same product, but a different colour. This is more of a honey pine, where the other ones have been the very light pine. And I think this one was fitted at a slightly later date as well, because it's in slightly better condition. Less scratches and things like that, you know. So, let's get the edging done. Right then, that's the first coat of polish down. So as you can see, all around that door, all the edging's been done, guillotine. And it's looking lovely at present. But I'll be honest, guys, the one thing that I dislike about commercial work is the pure lack of respect from tenants, other workers. It is what it is. You know, we can't do anything about it. It is what it is. But domestics, you're obviously cleaning something for that particular customer that has literally got you out to make something better, and she's going to be, or he's going to be, or they're going to be very thankful for the work that you've done. Unfortunately, when it comes up against commercial work, they're treading over it, you know. It's like, I've got 5 blocks, this is the last one, all done, but in every single block, I've had people come down, tread all over it, I've had to go back over it. Luckily, you know, before it gets to that point where it has started to set, so I've been able to just quickly go back over it, you know, and I've been all right with it. But it doesn't matter what time of day it is, you could do it in the middle of the night. You're always going to have people coming in and out of places of communal use. It's just, it is what it is. You know, there is no way around it. That's commercial work for you, so it's not for everyone. I mean, I keep my commercial work to a minimum on purpose. You know, I'm probably about 80% domestic, 20% commercial. And I like to pick and choose my commercial work as well. I'd like to say that this job's been absolutely brilliant now. I've loved the results from it. But like I say, the lack of disrespect coming from people when you've said, just give me half an hour, you know, they're not in no rush, not going to the hospital, you know, they're not in a severe need to get out, it's just, they're not bothered. They just want to get out, you know, and it's their place of rest, it's their home that I'm making well for them. But that's just the way it goes in commercial. Anyway, enough of me moaning, because, you know, we all need to get it out now and again. I've got about half an hour for this to go off, and then we'll lit it with another coat. Righty-odely, let's get this last coating down. Sure does. And that's it, guys. We're wrapped up. Oh, you beauty. Honey roast LVT. Till next time, guys. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you in the next.